kind of send them spiraling back into inconsequential places in the football landscape, which is just to not matter officially. And you hope that that's done. Another day closer, another day to gauge where Florida State sits big picture, as well as where they sit for Saturday's game. Big picture, the committee last night, Florida State, exactly the same. No change anywhere within that top 8. No changes whatsoever. Let everybody else worry about it. Florida State keeps winning. They're going to be in. We know that. And so you get to, you kind of, first you start there and you say, all right, what is it? What does it mean? What does it not mean? Should I be worried? Not worried? Well, answer is no, you're good. You're good right now. And then from there, you bring it back close to home and you say, how are we? Well, Johnny practiced yesterday. Continue to get reports that it's a real good chance he plays Saturday. Feel good about Keon's chances of playing Saturday.
Do you? Okay.
I mean, I do. I feel good about that possibility of that happening, yeah. And then I think you just continue to monitor health, because if you're at full strength and you play well, you should beat this Miami team. It's not a Miami team that is without hope. It's not a Miami team that has zero chance, but it's not a Miami team that is as good as you. And you've got a lot to play for, and you are a more talented team. You've handled all of the moments where you had to be responsible, buttoned up, focused, and you've taken care of business. And another opportunity to do so in a game that will be filled with emotion and a lot of energy, and a crowd that I think will be ravenous, because I think that, again, Florida State fans can taste it. Now you are getting really close. I mean, getting really close. And it's like you said, Tom, you and I were talking off the air. If you're 10-0, you're 11-0. North Alabama ain't beating you. So if you're 10-0, you're 11-0. And you realize this is the gateway to being one game away from really being in a position to punch the ticket. And you're already in the ACC championship game, so that ticket's been punched. But we're talking about the next one. Then you're starting to look at making plans. Is it New Orleans? Is it out in Pasadena? Are you waiting for Houston? Everybody's got to decide that for themselves. There's still a lot of dominoes to fall, a lot of big games to be played, a lot of maneuvering, but you winning football games is all that really matters at this point, and getting healthy enough to win the biggest of football games, building towards that end.
Yeah, well, there's that, which is the on-the-field stuff, but then this is a critical 2.5 weeks for the off-the-field stuff too, because of what you can do to your in-state rivals, because of the message that you can send to kids who are deciding between us and one of our in-state rivals. Or if it's a doomsday, some of this is out of our control because we don't play them every week. Well, let's say Florida loses out.
Well, they could very well lose out, yes.
That was why that Arkansas game was critical. But let's say they do and they go 5-7. Are we sure that all those kids that decided on them during the season, maybe over us or in the summer, they might not be available in December? Maybe they want to take another look at Florida State after they see that Florida goes 5-7 and their final game of the season was us going down to the swamp and laying waste to them. Ditto for this weekend. If you win this game, you do what you're supposed to do. Miami is staring at 6-6, 7-5, right in the face. And you will be in position to be 12 or 13-0 if you take care of business in this wonderful scenario that I'm painting. And it's not just about being in the Final Four of college football. It's also about claiming the state and maybe getting a couple of flips between now and signing day in late December.
Absolutely huge, because I'm constantly at this point. Again, I talk about checking boxes and putting yourself in a position now to be a preeminent football program, not in the state, but in the country. But you got to own the state to do that. In our history, in the history of this state, where great football is played and a bevy of elite athletes make up a lot of rosters around the country of the better football teams and on into the NFL, winning the war for those players in your own backyard has always been critical. And the teams that do it are the ones that are consistently elite. And we've seen the ebbs and flows of the moments in which you were up and down and how it could go the wrong way. And Florida and Miami are fighting now to keep their head above water, while Florida State has ascended to the top of the state by a lot. Wasn't too long ago we were fighting to reach the surface ourselves. If Florida State loses to LSU, if Florida loses to LSU, we've already beaten LSU soundly. If Florida loses to LSU, it would be their fourth consecutive loss in the month of November. That, by definition, means you are hanging on tenuously to this recruiting class, one would think. At some point, they become rattled. They have another game after that against Missouri, who will be favored to beat Florida. And at the end of the year, they have us, and they will be underdogs in that game as well. At that point, Napier is, really staring at an ugly record against Power 5 opponents. He'd be 7-14. That's problematic. 7-14 against Power 5 opponents with what looks to be arguably the toughest schedule in the country facing them in 2024. So that record's not going to get a whole lot better. And those begin to mount. They've endured, Florida fans have, a decade and a half of very up and down to poor football. And at some point, it's going to matter beyond what you can wrangle as a new coach. What I mean is Napier will have a hard time getting it back because Georgia has surpassed Florida in a way that they could not have seen coming in that time to become the best program in college football. Their arch rival, Florida State Seminoles, have now surpassed them and are in the top 4 in the country and on the cusp of going to the college football playoff. You have a lot to overcome in your own division. Tennessee is now above you. So you get to where you're having to out-recruit Florida State, Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, and on we go. It gets to be very, very, very difficult. And, it will be interesting. In the time that I just alluded to, Florida has watched as Florida State fell off a cliff and then rose back up and then fell off and surged again. So they've seen a lot in that time. Miami hasn't really been relevant in any consistent way for over 20 years. And hence the ongoing joke about, Miami, the U is back and this is their year. And every year that turns out to not be true. And so we see this surge in recruiting for Miami anytime they make a change, anytime they bring in a new head coach. Well, that's true of every program that has any cachet. And to be sure, Miami has cachet. In the history of the sport, they have a lot of it. So when they make a change, everybody wants to believe, and there's some buy-in initially to that change. But the second they are shown to be right back where they were before, unable to get traction, losing to their rivals, amassing 4 and 5 losses a season, not playing in the ACC championship game again, then that recruiting begins to fall off. And once again, they're left looking around, who's going to come save us? You can quickly usher in those periods and sow those seeds of doubt if you dominate Saturday. If you dominate on Saturday, a year after beating them 45-3, and you once again prove to these recruits who want to buy in to the new regime, hey man, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. You guys aren't it. It ain't happening. It's a bygone era that you're longing for and ain't ever coming back. You play in a stadium miles and miles and miles away from campus. You have no home field advantage to speak of. You have achieved nothing since joining this conference, and you've been greatly surpassed by 30, 40, maybe 50 programs that play college football, most notably your arch rival in the capital city. So why would you choose to go play there?
Yeah, even after their worst downturn in more than 40 years, they found their way back. And you are still in the same place you were in 2005 and 2010 and 2015 and 2020 and probably 2025.
Yeah, it's a good time right now for Florida State to seize opportunity, to grab a stranglehold on this state and to keep kids here. Clemson has 4 losses. They've been raiding the state. They've done a good job of recruiting in the southeastern footprint. And that helped turn their program around. Other programs were able to come into this state and steal players from the big 3 because everybody was down, including us. And so it got very frustrating when you watch Georgia do it, and Alabama do it, and LSU do it, and Clemson do it, and other schools come in and just take what they wanted. from your own backyard, and you were kind of defenseless. But you're no longer defenseless. You're the program in the state that's moving into a position to put a fence around the state as best you can. Now, the days of, the late 80s and early 90s of doing that have changed. But you certainly can have a huge leg up on the competition to get the creme de la creme of the state to stay here and come play for you.
Yeah, well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, it's easy to see, not just when you have playmakers, but maybe when you don't. Maybe when you have guys that are a little bit above replacement level at the Power 5 level conferences. Mike Norvell's offense looks like it's a lot of fun to play in. Looks like it's going to make me some money to play in Mike Norvell's offense. Also looks like if I'm trying as a running back, for example, to keep some tread on the tire for my professional career, he spreads the ball around, gives the ball to a lot of different guys. Boy, it sure looks like I would do everything that I want to do in college if I come play for Mike Norvell. I'm going to succeed. He's going to push me and develop me, make me better. We're going to win football games. I'm going to make money.
Yeah, and the Battle's Edge secures opportunities for players who say yes to Florida State.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking about NFL, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. You've got, even if your pro dreams don't work out, if maybe you're just a very good college player. I think about a guy like Murray Smith who has a decision to make at the end of this year. That is not a guy that's going to go play pro football at the center position. He's just not, and he's a very good college player. There's a guy that where a player having the ability to make money off their name, image, and likeness definitely is helped out in a way they never were before. This is the guy you root for, a program guy who works hard, who plays through pain and injury, a guy who goes to class and has been successful, who's helped out in the community. Guys like that get a chance to make a little bit of money for their dedication and hard work and their commitment, and a class act like that. So you get a guy like that to stick around next year, and now you have your starting center. And even though you probably need to find a way to eventually develop a center, it'd be nice to know you have that in your back pocket as you figure out a way to get that done. Florida State's in a good position to do that, and that's because of the Battle's End. And because they've done a good job of identifying as a coaching staff which guys to bring in, which guys to keep, which guys to let go, all of those things. The organization top to bottom right now is in a very good place. But seizing opportunities are what we talk about with what's left of this season. Saturday is a big one. Saturday's a really big one. In many ways, if this was an opponent with the same resume that Miami has, but they weren't named Miami, said it was Pitt this week, whatever it is, right? In town with the same resume, all right? You wouldn't be talking this way. You talk about getting a win. I don't care if it's 20-10 or 30-17. I like an impressive win, but just get your win and let's keep it moving. But in many ways, I'm hungrier for another ass kicking, similar to the one we had a year ago, which was overwhelmingly joyful, 45-3 in front of those few fans. And it's because you have chances to kick their face repeatedly while they're down. This is a vicious game. You've got to step on necks when you can. This is what it's always been about for the Big Three. Florida was doing it to us under Urban Meyer when we were on the wane. We've seen it happen with all of the Big Three teams when they're rolling and another one is not. Blood in the water, seize the opportunity, negative recruiting, slap them around, score the extra touchdown where you can, run it up. If you get a chance this weekend to run it up. As big a score as you could possibly put on the board, I would be seeking to do.
So you wouldn't do what Mike Norvell did before the end of the Pitt game?
No, I'm calling timeout. We're scoring.
Yeah, I agree.
I may kick an onside afterwards. I'm kicking your ass every which way to Sunday, and I'm doing it again and again and again. If I can. Now, listen, we don't know. Miami may be game. They've got a very good defense. They're going to show up. It's a rivalry game. You're going to have to give them a reason to lay down. You gave them that reason pretty early and often last year. You got to give it to them again this weekend, and because they're going to fight you, as they should. I mean, they got some pride.
Yeah, it starts with our defense and forcing them to lay down. Because if you're a member of the Miami defense, you're thinking, how many stops do I have to get in a GD season for us to win some football games? How many stops? Come on now, Van Dyke. Again? We're on the field again. Look at you. All right, you're in the red zone. Good job. You throw a pick in that situation? My God. So we're going to have to hold them to what tonight? I'm sorry, 10, 13, 16 to win? And if you do that week after week after week.
Gets old, yeah.
And now there's a freshman quarterback in there if they don't want to go with Van Dyke, and let's say that they go with Emory Williams. Okay, well, now my expectations are limited. It's not the kid's fault. He's a true freshman, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm on the field again because we punted again and again and again. And if I give up a couple of big plays because Keon Coleman's a stud, or Jaheim Bell's a stud, or Jordan Travis makes it's a one-on-one situation, he makes our corner miss, and there he goes, son of a, and it's 14-0. Do I really, really feel like making another stop? Or am I starting to think about other things? And next thing you know, it's the third quarter and it's 31-7. Florida State. I mean, that's how you can do it. That's how you can get them to lay down, is by demoralizing their defense by the fact that they've got to be on the field over and over and over again, because we're stopping them.
Yeah, and this is big for Florida State's defense because Parrish and Chaney, and I think A.J. Allen's back, so I think you're looking at, 3 guys now that they're going to try to run the football a lot with.
They're good.
Yeah, yeah. And they're all 3 really talented. That's the part of the team that I will speak glowingly of. I like that group in the backfield. I don't love their receivers the way some people do. Restrepo is what he is. He's a good player. I don't think he's a crazy difference maker, but he's a good player. And then from there, you're talking about various forms of decent. But no crazy good.
Cohen's decent. He's large, but he drops the ball a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be fascinating to see, if Miami's able to run the ball, they'll stay in the game. That's the bottom line. If they're able to run the ball, they'll stay in the game. They can set up some plays off of play action. They can make something happen. But if you stop the run here, it could be a long day in Doak. Think how loud that's going to be. Think of the energy Florida State's going to play with, the ability to get after the passer. And Miami's offensive line is giving up pressure.
And yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Lots of pressure.
Their defensive line is good, and their defensive front, I should say, because they pressure a ton.
Yes, they do. They do.
They are to the wall, blank to the wall all the time.
I admire that aspect of what they're trying to do. It doesn't always work, but they are going to pressure you.
They don't care if you are a replacement level quarterback or if you're Drake May. It's going to be pressure left and right, and we're going to give some stuff up. But you know what? This is who we are, and this is our only chance is to create havoc.
Let's talk about this next. I don't think they can continue to play that way. They may be hell-bent on playing that way, but they may also have to alter the way that they view who they are because of the offensive downfall over the course of this season. Mm-hmm. You can give up big plays when you think your offense is going to go score. Well, this version of Miami ain't going to score anywhere right now, and then you give up big plays on the road against this place? No. That would be interesting. I hope they do. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ. How you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. If anything, I feel more calm. I don't feel like I have to run around looking for company, and my people can leave me alone with the couch cushions.
Hey, I can stop anytime I want.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. Tally Spay. For more information and to schedule a same-day surgery and pickup, go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
Warning. The following Zaxby's ad may contain messaging upsetting to Philadelphians. Zaxby's took the iconic Philly sandwich, the quote-unquote perfect Philly sandwich, and made it perfecter by putting fried chicken on it. That's right, fried chicken on a Philly. And while Philadelphia might find it offensive, you can find it at your local Zaxby's. Finally, the Philly done right. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
Services, conferences to call away. 222-7722. AC and electric is what we do. Service, repairs, and installation too. 222-7722. Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Invest in a peak performance membership and you'll buy peace of mind in knowing that you're extending the life of your system and probably saving money on your power bill too. The program includes comprehensive tune-ups that keep your system running at its maximum efficiency. And peak performance members get many benefits, including priority service. Members jump to the front of the line when their comfort system fails. And a 15% discount on all parts. The peak performance membership pays for itself over and over again. Call today and have peace of mind. And now offering electrical services too.
Parker Services, conferences to call away.
Florida license number CMC 050334.
The Challenger Learning Center presents Impact Week 2023, November 13th through the 17th. Experience a week long of free events and join in on Domi's Pitch Event, a chance for area entrepreneurs to pitch their business for a chance to win $22,000 in cash and in-kind prizes. Experience our community's dynamic energy firsthand. To learn more about the event, see a list of topics and talks, and to register for free, go to impactweek.info.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
About the game, thinking about how fun it's going to be in the fourth quarter of the game on Saturday as the sun's going down, goes down early, so it'll be down really probably on the other side of halftime. And cool weather starts to kick in just a little bit. Not nearly as cool as I'd like it to be, but cool enough. Game secure. You're in a position to sit back and think about what are the other teams doing? What are they sputtering about? Is there an upset brewing? Is there something that deserves my attention?
Is Hakeem healthy? Can we get him in there? It'd be really good to get him in there in this spot. Let's get him some experience in a rivalry game. Vandravius, you good? Let's get him out there.
So it's funny yesterday, Tom, you'd laugh at this. We talk about, how I talk about with the sun going down early and how much I hate that. So I don't know if you saw this week, somebody last week, I guess on the heels of that conversation when I was talking about living in the Northeast, how early the sun goes down, how depressing it is. And this guy added me, and he was like, "Oh, it's BS what you're talking about. It doesn't get dark here till 6:30. I live in New York, and you're nuts."
No, that's not true.
Well, I know it's not true,
Sorry.
and that's why I didn't respond to it. But I laughed because that yesterday I was at home, and I picked up Bryce from basketball practice, and so I was getting kind of dinner organized and figuring out what I was going to do. And I had the Weather Channel on the back because I was looking for hopefully a front coming in this weekend. I was just trying to find, do we have good news on the horizon? And they checked in with some chick in Albany, New York, and she's like, "Hey, I'm standing here to talk about New York's weather." It was 5 p.m. in pitch black.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Just stop it, buddy.
No, so in December, when the days are the shortest.
You live there.
Yeah, sunset, for a semester, I did. Sunset's around 4:30. But here's the thing. Sunset could be 5 or 5:15. It's cloudy 8 out of 10 days. It's cloudy 8 out of 10 days up there, which does what? Makes it darker.
Yeah.
So you can get into sunsets if you want, but that even gets down to 4:30 p.m. in December.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
So, yeah.
Hey, so we wonder about our health right now. It'll be very interesting to see if Miami has the services of Daryl Porter Jr. He got hurt in the NC State game, and I went back and listened to Cristobal's answer to that question, and he was like, "Well, we feel good."
Was it charismatic, the answer?
No.
Just check.
But he kind of, all the other guys that got listed, including the other corner, they felt good about it. The way he said it about him, he's kind of like, I got a maybe on that one is what I got. I know he said yes, but I got a maybe. Well, he is their best cover corner by far. So if Holmes doesn't play, look out. look out, because that dude's good.
Yeah, and this is another team that has not seen wide receivers the caliber of Florida State, assuming that we're healthy there. And that's where, the cat and mouse game is very interesting, because if you watch the way that Miami brings pressures, and they do, from all angles, they love the slot blitz, either the safety or the corner. They love doing that. It's fun in two different ways to play this chess match out. Number one, they pressure. You shouldn't do that to Jordan, generally speaking.
Please do.
He knows where to go with the football. Now, if he holds it a while, that's trouble. So that's where the blitz could work. But then the other thing is, it drives us nuts from time to time, but the old clap, dance around, walk up to every individual offensive lineman, shake their hand, see how they're doing. How'd you sleep last night? All right, then you get back and there's 10 seconds to go, and then you clap, and you look at the sideline, and you get ready. And
the whole thing.
Okay, that actually in this case works, because Miami really enjoys waiting until the last second to show their hand, to tip their hand. It's delayed blitzes. They love those. Well, if Jordan is going to wait on you and Miami wants to wait, that actually, again, plays to our advantage a little bit. It's more when you get into a quicker rhythm that those blitzes are disguised well and we don't see them coming. So it'll be fascinating to see what Miami does.
So if you're just looking at plays, by the way, if you're trying to figure out pace of this game, we're the same team. I mean, they basically run the exact same number of plays a game, which I don't like. I wish we ran more plays, but I get it. I mean, that's what we are this year. When you look at Florida State's full profile, this is important for gambling. It's why I look at it typically, just for people who are wondering why you'd care all that much about plays. I think there's 66 plays a game and we're 65 or vice versa. I mean, that's literally, we're one play off per game. And where that would rank you, if memory serves, is in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you'd be about 70th in pace. We don't play fast. That's, again, the byproduct of an offensive line that's not great, in my opinion. Because
we want to.
Oh, yeah. With these weapons, you would want to play fast.
That's all Mike tried to do in preseason camp. We saw him turn up the tempo, and it was impressive at times. And then he talks about it consistently. We've got to get the speed going. We got to get the speed up. It reminds me actually of yesteryear, before Leonard Hamilton 2.0.
Oh, he used to tell us that he wanted to get out and run. Then we'd never run, and we'd play half court, and the final scores would be 52-50. And then later on, one day, we started to run.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And we became one of the more electrifying teams to watch, but he had to get the horses first. You can't have an element of what you're trying to do be the hitch in your giddy-up. And the offensive line is the hitch in our giddy-up, so they can't do it.
Now, North Carolina broke it out against Miami a little bit,
yes,
the tempo,
they did.
and it worked.
It did work.
We may go to a curveball every once in a while.
Every once in a while. We still do that now.
Yeah. Well, you got to win on first down.
Got to win on first down, buddy. Got to win on first down. There's no doubt. Just the pace of the game. Teams run a very similar tempo. Miami is, no matter how you cut it, the number one way Miami stays in this game is with their defense. If you're Miami, you want to do two things here. You got to be stout on defense. They have largely been this year. There are exceptions. The North Carolina game, second half, comes to mind. And you've got to be able to run the ball. And if they're able to run the ball, they can shorten the game, protect their young quarterback if he plays, protect Tyler Van Dyke if he plays, because he's just been ass. You don't want him to have to be the guy. So you want to – I feel like a broken record. I've talked about Pitt playing this way. I've talked about Wake Forest playing this way. I've talked about most of the teams we've faced lately wanting to play a game where they run fewer plays, not more plays. They want to run the ball, keep Florida State's offense off the field, and they have to try to play good defense, obviously, to just get them to the fourth quarter. And I don't see how this game's any different for Miami. You're going to run some more if you can. Florida State's been a mixed bag against the run. They've had good days and bad days. Against the traditional run, they've done pretty well, but they haven't always dominated up front in the run game. So if Miami gets behind the chains, they're going to be in trouble. They give up a ton of pressures. Their line, in terms of those pressures, is ranked in the hundreds.
Yeah, they're infamous now for three-man pressures allowed as well,
which is crazy. Well, hell, we'll give up three-man pressures too. It pisses me off. But but
we pass pro in non-three-man rush situations.
Which makes zero sense.
They don't in either situation.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. They don't. They really struggle to protect their quarterback. And, win first down in the run game here and get them behind the chains, and you could amass a lot of sacks. You can create turnovers, or at least turnover-worthy plays are created. And then you just got to make them. And, that's the quickest way. This team, you feel like Miami's a team, if you equate it to a boxing match, you feel like Miami's a team that has a punch. Okay, they got a puncher's chance. It's like when two heavyweights fight. One heavyweight may be better than the other heavyweight. It may be decidedly so. But any heavyweight's capable of knocking you out. I mean, he's got a punch. He's a 230-pound man. He can hit you. You're going to get knocked out if you're not careful. So they have a puncher's chance. But Miami feels like a team that's kind of against the ropes, and they're hoping to land a shot that backs you off and turns this into more of a fair fight. But if they don't, and this thing gets rolling, and their hands come up, and now all of a sudden you're letting it fly, this thing could get ugly. If the race is to, say, 24, you feel like Florida State's in a really good position to win that race.
Yeah.
And then I would say we do this with every game. If there's a team that's going to get blown out in this game, it's Miami. I think Miami would tell you that. I think Miami fans, if they were objective, would say, well, okay, if there's a blowout, who's doing the blowing out? Yeah, well, Miami ain't blowing Florida State out. Florida State could certainly blow Miami out.
Agreed. The one thing I would say, if you're looking for a puncher's chance and how you land the punch, let's kick everything out of the back of the end zone. They've got a really good kick return for sure.
And they got a really good kicker, period.
Yeah.
If this becomes a special teams, their kicker's insane.
That's good from 65.
I'm tired of watching it.
Yeah.
This freaking dude has one of the best legs I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And yet against Virginia.
He missed.
No, Mario wanted to take a knee with 25 seconds to go and 2 timeouts. You're on the 20-yard line. Dude, pick up 2 first downs. Let him try 65. I swear, it's not a bad decision. That dude has got a thunderous leg.
It's absolutely out of control. Let's hope this doesn't come down to a kick.
But the kick return as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get cute, try to pin them back inside their 25. Their offense sucks. Let them start at the 25. Give them the ball at the 25. I don't care you give them the ball at the 25 because that kid's more dangerous. Smith.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a kick
When
returner.
you watch high school football, I've now had to get refamiliarized with this. Most high school teams struggle mightily to cover kickoffs. They really struggle to cover kickoffs to the point where you're like, just kick it out of bounds. I don't even care.
Give it to him in the 35. Yes.
I swear to God, I've watched more kids not be able to cover a kickoff than I've ever wanted. And it's for everybody and all over the district. It's unbelievable. Every time a team kicked to Leon, I was like, oh, good. There's a chance he takes it to the hizzy. And if we kicked to somebody and they caught it in the field of play, I was like, hold your breath. This kid could be going to the house. So for whatever reason, modern high school kids can't cover a kick to save their life. It drives me nuts to the point where everybody just squibs everything down to about the 35 and hopes to make a tackle. In this game, we can be the high school coach equivalent. Yeah. Don't kick it to that dude.
Yeah, squibs are good. Out of bounds is
not I don't want ideal, out of bounds, but
35 yards.
I don't want the 35, but especially with a good field goal kicker, don't give it to him at the 35.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
2
10
first
more
downs
yards.
And he's kicking a field goal. I don't need all that.
From 68.
Yeah, like son of a no, but yeah. Just kick it out of the back of the end zone. Be done with it.
Yeah.
I don't need any of this.
None of this. Well, we could get him at the 12.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Don't want to do it.
The hell with you in the 12.
Kick it out of the back. Be done with it.
The 25 is the 12 with them.
Make them earn it. Make them drive the field.
That's the other thing, too. When they run the ball, and they're going to hit some runs. They got good players. But
at running back.
Allow it to be 12 and not 30. If you got a chance, even if they do break it. Well, what I'm saying is, 1st and 10 from the 25. Oh, that's really well blocked up. We didn't see that coming. Now, Akeem Dent, one-on-one, or Shaheem, let's get that kid on the ground. 1st and 10 from the 37. I still bet they're not going to go down the field and score a touchdown here. But if you give them 30 because you can't bring a guy down and in a one-on-one you miss a tackle, now this is how a bad offense is gifted an opportunity to put points on the board. Just the missed tackles thing. We've had a little problem with that too. Sometimes we get in moments where you go, good Christmas. Was that 4 on the same play?
Yeah.
Let's not do that this weekend.
I'm curious. It's funny when I watch them run the ball. I know we got to go to break. I got a question for you. I just pulled this up because I wanted to see how wrong I was. I knew I was wrong. But I like Fletcher, man, and I don't think they love Fletcher.
Fletcher is 22.
Mark Fletcher is the kid's name. I don't know his number. He's a good player. He has 55 carries on the year, and he's averaging close to 5 yards rush, but he's not as efficient like Henry Parrish Jr., Donald Chaney, those guys. But I like that kid. When I watch him play, I'm thinking, he's kind of a player.
Yeah, that's 22. Oh, no, yeah, he's a really good player.
But his efficiency rating's not good, buddy.
because he's a freshman.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I think he's going to be a good player.
He's fearless.
Yeah,
he's
he is.
fearless.
When I watch him, I think that's your guy.
Yeah.
That's your guy. You got the wrong guy. That's your guy.
No, I agree. Now Parrish is
Henry
quite
Parrish
good,
is a good player. Do you like him more than Chaney?
Yes,
Me too.
I like Parrish more than Chaney, but Fletcher is the one that projects very nicely down the way.
Mm-hmm.
But all of them do a pretty good job of getting downhill, putting their foot in the ground and going. And that's the thing where if you make a wrong decision, if you guess in the wrong gap,
Be smart about it.
that's
You really
where
got
you're
to
in
be
trouble.
smart about it. You really do. It's just interesting to have this conversation because somewhere in that Miami team is a better offensive unit, but they're trending terribly. And again, they're on the heels of a 6-point performance. Now, I will grant you, I think that NC State defense is very good, always. But 6 points is ridiculous. And that was the byproduct of a quarterback falling to pieces.
Yeah. In fact, Dominic Robinson's breakdown this week looks at Miami at the offensive side. What's wrong with them? What's their identity? What do they want to be? And
Well, they want to run the ball.
Of course. Yeah. With that coach.
Yeah.
But like formationally, well, how do they do it? And what kinds of runs? But Van Dyke, I mean, obviously the pick in the end zone is ridiculous. It's a touchdown. He finds a way to throw an interception on that play. But if you look at some of the key moments in that game, there's another 21, 24 points out there for a quarterback who's decent.
Yeah, so is Emory Williams capable in that situation of hitting those
coming
plays?
Here as a freshman in
Can
his
he
second
handle
start
it and make those plays? Because if he can, they could be in the game. You know, this is a week when anytime Florida State's been heavily favored in this rivalry, anytime Florida State's been heavy favorites to beat Miami, for whatever reason, I get more nervous because there's only one way to go. Like, if you win, people are like, you're supposed to beat Miami's ass.
Yeah.
And if you lose, it's embarrassing and it obviously unravels the season. And also, it breeds desperation from the team that's the huge dog. I mean, I've thought before going down there. I went down there not all that long ago to watch us be huge underdogs and get out to a big lead. This is under Willie. And then we choked it away, of course. Jesus Christ. I'm still angry about that. I'm sitting in the stands for when that happened. Well, that's something DeAndre Francois. God, still mad about it. I'm telling everybody before the play, like, don't you dare drop him back. And then it happens.
Yeah.
And as soon as it happened, I wanted to puke.
Is it the same play or the one before where you have it's like a tight end hitch or something?
Wide open?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Also, the double pass was legal.
It doesn't matter. We choked the whole thing away.
That game was won. The moment that you have the double pass for the touchdown, it's over.
I know, but I'm still so mad. After the kick return for a touchdown, you've got the game won. The punt return.
Yeah.
You've got the game won. It's over. They've got nothing. Anyhow, it
needed to happen for us to be where we are today.
If you think about it, we shouldn't have even been in the game. My point is I went down there with zero expectations. There's a freedom that goes with that. And I feel like that's true of even players. Like, if you're Mario, you can play the card. Like, F this team, this program, our arch rivals. Let's ruin their dreams. And by the way, it vaults us back into the world of recruiting and everything else. Like, you can just throw the kitchen sink at Florida State. But can you throw the kitchen sink at Florida State if you play a broken Tyler Van Dyke? And can you throw the kitchen sink at Florida State if you're playing a freshman in Emory Williams? They may not be equipped to do the thing.
Well, and how many, tools, how many things from the kitchen sink are necessary to score the amount of points necessary to beat Florida State? Like, anybody can cute their way with a couple of tricks that have never been on film.
Yeah.
Maybe 13 points, max 17. Like, if you've got nothing,
when it happens, though, matters. Like, if you get out to a good start, you get out to a good start, you can kind of sustain some of that energy, put game pressure on the team with something to lose.
I just think while Miami does have an impressive defense, and this is going to be a tough test, if they want to be who they are and play us by the code of what they are, which is pressure, a lot of it is, pre-snap, they'll load up the line of scrimmage, who's blitzing, who's staying at home. If they want to do that, be my guest. That is a good way to have 24, 28 points dropped on you in a half, because you're going to leave one-on-ones and you're going to allow Jordan to understand where the ball needs to go before the snap is made. So there's a lot of pressure all the way around here. Even though we've got the pressure of more to lose,
yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on them to execute too if they're going to be what they are against a guy like Jordan.
They have to be nearly perfect. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A single vehicle crash occurred Tuesday morning near the Tallahassee National Cemetery. The crash took place near the intersection of Appalachia Parkway and March Road. The accident occurred when a motorcycle struck a deer. The driver of the motorcycle succumbed to his injuries at the scene of the crash. Former Tallahassee attorney Philip Timothy Howard, 62 years old, was sentenced to 14 years after facing a racketeering charge. Howard's racketeering charge stemmed from his work between late 2015 and early 2018. The former attorney, along with employees and associates of his Tallahassee law firm, Howard and Associates PA, engaged in a criminal enterprise to defraud his clients of funds from an NFL class action lawsuit. More than $4 million was made through the racketeering from Howard and others that were involved. Howard pleaded guilty back in August. His 14-year prison sentence will be followed by 3 years of supervised release, as well as a requirement to pay a restitution of $12.64 million. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs level off around 81 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. 55 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Highs around 80 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Highs level off around 83 Friday under mainly cloudy skies. 78 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 80.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic of Basic Brooks Law Offices.
Traffic cameras are everywhere these days.
And Basic Brooks is partnered with RoadProof to get access to all their vast network of cameras.
This is a valuable tool to help us search for evidence that could help you if you were involved in an accident.
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Basic Brooks and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Call Basic Brooks and we'll do everything we can to help you come back stronger.
Call us now at 850-777-7777.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items,
Yes.
everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of, that nobody would know, and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The great week to win kind of player of the week, if you will. And I would point out that in addition to that, and I know it's in here, there it is. I want to give the kid credit. We all were happy for Jakai Douglas, Tom, and because that's a program kid. That's a kid who's worked really hard and a guy that isn't ever really going to be your go-to guy. But in a moment where they needed him to be very dependable, very reliable on the road, he stepped up and made big plays, and he'll always have that now. He'll always have that game. He'll always have that memory as being a guy that the team turned to, and he was able to answer the call. But what we didn't know at the time was the stuff off the field about Jakai, and I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because I got an email from a guy named Johnny Ray who pointed out to me that he was the Sports Ability Alliance Volunteer of the Week as well, same week before this game. And that is an adaptive and inclusive sports program in Tallahassee, including Miracle League Sports. And Miracle League is an inclusive recreational sports program that offers children as well as adults with a variety of disabilities to participate in sports. Those sports include kickball, baseball, tennis. And he was the volunteer of the week heading into that game. And pretty cool to see him out there working with folks with disabilities and giving them opportunities that they don't always get. And congratulations to Jakai. I've done some work with these kinds of groups before. And I remember years and years and years ago getting an opportunity to play wheelchair basketball. I was out of shape, Tom. I got housed. I had no chance. You're not used to using your arms so much, man. I was exhausted. It was like a fat guy trying to run for 5 minutes. I was in deep trouble right from the get-go.
Dead sprint.
I was like, man,
400 pounds, dead sprint.
This is getting tiring, everybody. So it was neat. And anyhow, the Sportsability Alliance Volunteer of the Week Miracle Sports Kickball Tournament is what Jakai played in and had a lot of fun with. And I've got pictures of all this. Like, he sent them to me, and happy to see Jakai. And I just wanted to. You got a lot of good guys on this team. We've said before, this team is easy to root for. It's things like this that we're aware of that don't always come to people's attention that I wanted to. In this case, I didn't know it either until I got sent that email, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Johnny, for sending me that email, and I was glad I was able to pass it along because that's really cool.
He's not done making an impact this season on the field for Florida State either. I'm sure of that. I mean, they're banged up. I know Mike Norvell said today he takes umbrage with the idea that a receiver is a slot guy or an outside guy. He wants to put them in all positions. That was a question today that he took, and I think that's a nice little recruiting redirect for Mike Norvell. It says, I'm never going to keyhole you if you're coming here to Tallahassee.
Right.
But let's be honest. We could really use a shifty guy over the middle of the field. We missed that for the first little while this season. Maybe Jordan was turning it down, even though it was wide open for a player like Destin Hill.
That's true.
I think all things are combined to equal the truth of what happened. But he's 100%. I don't know that Destin is, even with one more week from the Pitt game, because he certainly wasn't this past weekend.
I don't think he'll be full speed until Florida.
So
that's a guess.
Yeah.
Based on just watching him run.
Well, if he's not full speed, you don't want to play him at North Alabama against North Alabama. There's no point.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So Jakai could have another week this week that is very important for Florida State. Now, he was vital on the key drive, the 4th and 14 drive. He got it started 2 years ago in this very football game.
He did. Well, let's hope he's not really counted on this week. He can make some plays. If he is being the guy, it means once again you have no Johnny Wilson. Once again, you have no Keon Coleman. I know that's not what you're saying.
No, yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't have to be the guy, but what I'm saying is he could have a very important role this weekend because, again, if Miami wants to bring a lot of pressure around the line of scrimmage, that means that you're going to have opportunities, quick game, get the ball out of your hands, allow Johnny to go make a block for Jakai Douglas and see what happens. Make one man miss.
Well, that's a different kind of play, isn't it? If Johnny Wilson is out on the perimeter blocking in the quick game, in the bubble. Yeah, that's a different sort of play there with Jakai's quickness and then a real sizable individual committed to blocking. That changes things.
It's also worth noting, too, that while when he initially came back, Jakai had trouble catching anything. But last week and even the week before that, in traffic, situations where he knew he was going to get lit up, Jakai came away with a catch. So I think the trust factor is going up on 3rd and 6 over the middle. It's now not an issue where Jordan says, I don't know if I can trust this guy. He'll throw it to zero. He trusts Jakai. So
he's always trusted him implicitly. It's crazy how much he trusts him.
I probably agree with you on that. But all in all, with the receivers the way they are right now, how healthy they are and who fits where, I think Jakai's not done yet making an impact on the field. I don't think it's just going to be the Pitt game and he goes away.
Hope so. And I like the kid. He's worked really hard and he deserves a lot of credit because that's a guy that kind of went in through the midway point of the year as an afterthought. And he's kind of become now a guy that is contributing big time. And at the very least just did in a huge way against Pitt.
Yeah, preseason camp, assuming that Winston Wright was going to be healthy, you think he's a candidate. Destin Hill, the hype around him from the summer workouts. Vandravius Jacobs from spring because he was dominant there. Jakai's 4th in the list as slot receiver.
Yeah.
Which means that in the receiver core, you're 8th on the list, 9th on the list.
This is where you need guys who are program guys, who are bought in, who care deeply, who put in the time, who work hard without the promise of ever getting in a game. or playing a vital role in said game, because you never know. You never know. You have a spate of injury the way that Florida State has had. Now, I'm about damn tired of talking about 4 and 5 and 6 receivers being out due to injury. It's virtually unheard of, but it was the situation we found ourselves in. And now you're turning to Williamson and Jakai and some people that you'd rather not turn to in these situations. And I'm not trying to, besmirch them. I'm just saying those aren't your top tier dudes.
I think that's a question for Norvell for the offseason.
What the hell happened?
Yeah, maybe it could just be, the gap between the conference championship and the bowl. If they're all healthy and everybody's smiling and yucking it up, or the playoff, I should say. And you could say, so remember that week when you had 5 guys that were unavailable? And he goes, yeah. How did that happen? How, Mike?
Well, I will tell you a couple things.
The worst Tuesday practice in history?
No, this is – we've had a lot of these kinds of questions, and I've got to always tiptoe around these answers. But you've had some guys dealing with some things who were able to play. This wasn't all just like, oh, we got hurt on Wednesday. A lot of these guys were dealing, but a lot of these guys were dealing with just things that hinder you throughout a football season, and it happened to culminate in a situation where you're like, let's take a calculated risk here and get these guys some more rests. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Your friendly neighborhood bar and grill just got a whole lot closer to home. You can now order delicious Smitty's Tap House and Grill for delivery directly to your doorstep. Just visit Smitty'sTapHouse.com, click the Order Online button, and choose pickup or delivery. Enjoy Smitty's famous handmade pretzel with beer cheese, juicy pub burger, or even the amazing schnitzel sandwich, delivered fresh right to your doorstep. Support local and order online today for takeout or delivery at Smitty'sTapHouse.com, where everybody knows his name.
The leaves are starting to fall, the temperatures will start to fall, and the prices are falling right now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. Incredible dealer discounts up to $5,000 are available on all hot spring spas, the industry leader in hot tubs and spas. If you've never experienced the sensation and relaxation of having your own hot tub in your backyard on a cool evening, you're truly missing out. The cold months are coming, and now's the time to set yourself up for the best winter season you've ever had. Plus, you'll gain the added health benefits of reduced stress, relief of sore muscles, and better sleep. You'll feel so relaxed after a nice soak in your new hot spring spa. You'll experience some of the best sleep of your life. Head over to Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road and check out their huge showroom packed with the best selection of hot tubs and spas available. And ask about getting up to $5,000 in discounts, low interest financing, and a free accessory to make your hot tub dreams come true. If you're ready to relax, Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers. And that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270-146.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Well, the Gators have lost 14 of their last 16 true road games. They're a 14-point dog at LSU on Saturday. 63.5 the total at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Florida State 15-point home favorites against Miami. The total 50 at Doak Campbell Stadium. The Seminoles have won 15 consecutive games. Georgia laying 11 at home with Ole Miss. Oklahoma State, the 2-point favorite at UCF. Thursday night football, Bears a 4-point favorite at home with the Carolina Panthers, 39 at Soldier Field. And Sunday at Everbank Stadium, Jaguars 2.5-point home dogs to the 49ers. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
At Simply Safe, our 24/7 lifeguard protection helps stop crime in real time. Because during a break-in, every second counts. And these days, every dollar counts. Right now, get 45% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. It's U.S. News and World Report's Best Home Security of 2023. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic.
Traffic cameras are everywhere, providing valuable evidence if you've been in an accident.
But if you can't access that evidence, it could just be your word against theirs.
Basic Brooks is partnered with Roadproof to have access to all their traffic camera footage. If you've been hurt in an accident, give us a call and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Let us find your video evidence so you can come back stronger. Call us now at 850-777-7777.
What I was told was bone on bone. I was going to have knee replacement, and I do not like surgery.
Desperate to avoid surgery, Julie decided to check out QC Kinetics non-surgical regenerative treatments.
My daughter actually works in a Chapel Hill, North Carolina lab, and I sent her all of the information that I was given. And she's like, "Oh, Mom, this is for you. I've heard great things about this." She's like, "You need to try it before ever doing surgery."
Julie started the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments right in the office, using her own healing properties to help restore her damaged tissue.
I know, my daughter was right. Yeah, it's nice when you've got that person you can go to who might have a little bit more information, especially on the science of it. QC Kinetics, it's life-changing.
Find out if you're a good candidate. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Modest goal together. I think we can do some Big Daddy J wagers for some hockey here.
Oh,
soon.
yeah.
I think it's time. You know what I figured out about us, by the way, just as an aside, I'll give
Lightning first period over.
Yeah, always. I will, and also the over period. We can't stop anybody. Everybody scores a ton against us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4-0 last night. Next thing you know, it's 5-3. It's 4-1 the other night against Toronto. We lose 5-4. We can't stop anybody from scoring. I'm about damn tired of watching it, but that's us.
Well, there's no Vassy. I think one of our goalies probably played for Florida State and club last year. So,
it feels that way. Everything that goes on net goes in, especially once you have the lead. Everything goes in. I'm like, oh, really? Gave up another one, did you? You're looking right at it.
And the crazy thing is we're in second place in our division.
No, you take it. It's a year just to make the playoffs. But I'm saying,
For sure.
it's a year just to make the playoffs. And we can score with anybody.
In its own way is kind of fun. I'd rather be dominant. Don't get me wrong.
No, we spend so much time being dominant. It's exhausting.
But in a way it is. But also it devalues the regular season. So
Right.
right.
Now you value the regular season.
Come on.
You better hold on.
Every point matters.
Well, once you get in, you could be as bad as Florida was throughout the course of the regular season last year and find yourself in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, the Toronto game, that is 100% fact.
Yeah.
The Toronto game, you're up 4-1. You're right. You're down 5-4. You score with 2 minutes to go. It's a point. Got a point. There you go.
I agree, but it's a little frustrating. You're like, come on, man. We're boat racing this group here. Make a stop. Yeah, I don't like either. Any of the slappies not named Vassy, I'm done with. We just a bunch of we can't find anybody. There's nobody out there.
We don't have the money.
$100 will do better than what we got in there. $100. All right, back to football. Sorry, that's an aside. I just want us to get back to wagering this right now. Overs across the board. It's like. By the way, did you know if you blindly bet the unders in the NFL this year, you're hitting it like 64%? Blindly. If you don't care, you just look at numbers and you go, I'm betting every effing under every week. I don't care what the matchup is. You would be up like 64%.
There is a guy I was listening to a weekend sports radio. How about that? Just driving
about town?
Driving about. But it was a gambling program. So
well, that's a great show.
And the guy
never heard it.
And the guy said, the funny thing is for a good 10 years there, I couldn't name you 15 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I just see the numbers. I don't see anything. He goes, in fact, with all the injuries right now, I don't know that I could name more than 12 starting quarterbacks in the NFL because I play the numbers. The moment you start to learn their names, you get attached to them. I was like, well, that's an interesting philosophy.
Yeah. Well, I do care about the human beings playing because it makes it more connectable. I care about winning wagers. You can do both. You can separate. Like if FSU were bad, I could bet against them. I've done it. Oh, easily.
What an admission.
Oh, there have been years.
You're sharing the screen with an 18-year Golden Chief booster, and you are admitting.
One has nothing to do with the other. There have been years.
One is the opposite of the other.
Oh, no, that's
one
not.
Is support,
that's not,
and the other is.
How am I not supporting them? What are you talking about? No, there have been years with the basketball program where I was on a heater for us to win because they were underestimating who we were. And there have been years where I'm like, oh, we are straight up ass. Let's take that other side every week. You just got to know what you're looking at. Hey, by the way, everybody, and I'm not a spokesman, but I hope to be. The Hard Rock app is up and running. Wagers can be made, everybody. Legally. Just shoobity-doop, shoobity-doop. I did that on Monday.
Yeah, I got the email that says, you are such a valued customer. Look at you.
Oh, buddy.
You are just one sexy man. And for that reason, we're going to give you 100 bones. Here's 100 bones, risk-free. Go ahead. See what happens. And I think I will. Team total over Florida State.
They gave you $100?
Well, they said up to $100, and then we'll give you a promotional bet on the other side.
Son of a bitch. I didn't get such a I'd put money in. I didn't get any such offer. I've already made 4 bets.
Maybe we should have a running counter on the bottom of the screen, and then it'll sync up to a computer you have over there. And then every time you make a bet, you just got to move that counter up one. So like Jeff's bets for the week, 5, 6.
I'll tell you what I've bet so far on the new Hard Rock app. Hard Rock, I could do this for you on a daily basis. And I'd be happy
there's somebody downtown who knows somebody.
Who knows somebody at Hard Rock, understands the kind of gambling Jesse that I am, and is willing to hook a brother up with the fine folks at Hard Rock. What a wonderful facility. Hope to be there soon. Kansas minus 3.5. I laid it. I took Houston minus 2.5. Laid it. Alabama minus 10.5 against Kentucky.
Well, you were liking that Central Time Zone this
I
weekend.
laid it. So there it is. Those are 3, and then I made another one, but that one was through my bookie. So it was really just 3. So, yeah, that's what we have.
Why, it was too good to be true? Couldn't get the number on the Hard Rock app?
Hey, by the way, I like that, P. Simpson. Jeff's Rock Hard Bets presented by Hard Rock Bet. All right. Hard Rock. So there it is. We're back in business, everybody. And, hey, gamble responsibly. I'm not responsible for what you do. You're a grown-ass man. You decide what you're going to do. Make sure that you can afford to lose whatever it is you're betting before you do it. I don't want any pushback. I already get enough. I know Jeff has said he's confident this will be the norm for FSU moving forward, but this feels like a must. That's from Cody in the chat. I wanted to answer it.
This year feels like it, yeah.
If you are talking about the possibility of winning the national championship in short order, meaning like sooner rather than later, I might agree with you that this is your best chance for a while because you have who you have at quarterback and you have a first-round draft pick at wide receiver in Keon Coleman. But I do think I'm right about this being the norm. The playoff expands to 12 teams next year. And I think more often than not, with Mike Norvell at the helm and the program on solid footing, solid ground, Florida State is going to be in a place to compete to make the playoff more often than not. It won't be every year, may not be next year, but they will more often than not be in a position to do it. And so I'm not that worried. It was about getting back to this place of stability, and Florida State's done that. They've already achieved that. Now, there's more to do. There's a lot more work to do. And I know, Tom said before the year he felt like this was a unique opportunity, not just because of what you had in Jordan Travis, and not just because it was a veteran-laden team and that the Battles End did a good job of roster retention and keeping our key players for this season, most notably Johnny, Verse, Travis, but also because of the improvements to the roster in the form of Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, Kyle Morlock, etc. But I feel like, while that's true, you have a unique opportunity because the other programs that are vying for it are not at their apex. They are not all in a position to have a veteran-laden quarterback leading an uber-talented team. Like Georgia, if you had a fifth-year senior at quarterback who was uniquely gifted, would feel a little unbeatable. But they don't have that. Now, I will tell you, I'm very sad to see that Carson Beck is going to be a first-round draft choice in the NFL. He's really good. Not this year, but he will be. He's talented. Immensely talented. I'm pissed. I've watched him closely, and the more I watch him, I'm like, he's freaking really good. All the throws, really good, getting better every week. Pisses me off. Anyhow, that's an aside. Just ready yourself for that, everybody. He's elite.
Go Ole Miss.
They're not going to win, Tom. Just as I told you, your beloved Virginia Tech Hokies were dead in the water against Louisville.
Look,
that game was not even close. We didn't even mention it. The Tall Boys that I won this week. You notice I haven't brought it up. That game was an ass stomping.
It was loyalty. I was sticking to it.
All right. Well, have your loyalty all you want. But they're not any good, and they got
my favorite cup of tea.
They got shown the door. They were told to take it on down the road officially is what they were told. Anyhow, Carson's young. And, that makes me think of hello, Carson.
Hello, Carson.
Yeah, so good. It's so unsettling. Turns and looks.
You don't have to do this.
Yeah, I can show you. He does the whole thing. I don't. So that guy is going to be really good, but he's just a freshman now. Ohio State doesn't really have a great offense in any way, shape, or form. They got a great player on offense, an elite player on offense, maybe the best player in the country. But he's one player and he's wide receiver. And their average is hell at quarterback. I think that if you look at the other contenders, there are some flaws there that you feel okay about. Like you got a chance. So I see Tom's point But I just think the long term is so bright for Florida State. They're going to get more players. They're going to continue to add to this roster. They got a great recruiting class coming in. They have a chance to, I think, infuse some more veteran talent this offseason through the portal. I think they will. I think this season has revealed that while you've taken a massive step forward and that you can compete with anybody in the country and you can beat most, where you've got to find greater depth and stability, linebacker, offensive line, I think you see that now. I think you know that. And so you can really attack that. And you've got an entity like the Battles Inn that's willing, if the coaches could bring the players in, to help out and find opportunities for those kids.
Yeah, this is a year, I think we're equipped for the fight. No matter who we see in the playoff, should we finish the job and get there, we're equipped for the fight. We can win it. Does that mean we're better 1 through 85 than those teams we would see in the playoff? No, doesn't matter, though. We're equipped for the fight. We can do it. Next year, just put yourself in that position for a minute. It's a strange one because right now we know we're going to the playoffs. Right now, right here as we sit here before the Miami game, short of losing out, you are going to the playoffs. You're going to make it because you're going to be one of the at-large teams. Even if you go to Charlotte and Louisville plays the game of their life, they're going to the playoff and so are you. That's where we would be. So there would be an immense amount of pressure lifted from the moment that we're living in right now, which is you've got so much to lose. It's a strange place to be. I hope to be in it very often in the near future where when the calendar changes from October to November, you're all good. Everything's going to be fine. Like Alabama, every year before they kick off the season until Saban leaves, they're going to be in the playoff. Like you just know. It's just a matter of, are we playing? Do we have a bye week? Do we not have a bye week? For me, my hope, selfishly, next year, just finish 5th. Right smack dab on that line between bye week and no bye week. Let's host a playoff game at Doak Campbell Stadium.
It'd be fun as hell, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. I don't care about the extra game. I want to see Doak for a playoff atmosphere. I want to see Doak in December. That would be baller. And I hope that we're in a position to do that next
It'd be
year.
really fun. It would be really fun. You're right. By the way, your description of Alabama being in the playoff hunt year in, year out, this may be his best coaching job. I mean, it's I know we're loath to lay praise at the feet of Nick Saban. He's gotten enough of it over time, but man, it's impressive.
Well, think about it too. Like he pretty much was in the playoff every year when it was a 4-team playoff,
Right.
and for a while there for BCS championship game, he was pretty much in it when they kicked off the season. And it was a 2-team.
No,
deal.
he's remarkable.
But if you're at Oregon right now or Texas there are so many teams right now that would be not sweating it all that much in terms of the do or die nature of every week of the college football season. We're going to miss that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it changes the energy of maybe being a 10-2 team that is the underdog in Charlotte. But you're going to care more because you could get into the playoff even though we don't deserve necessarily. We're probably the 18th best team in the country.
But you could get
You win today and you upset Clemson. Like whatever that scenario is, you can be in.
Where I would like it is sitting there watching last night. I know you guys did a reaction show. I was spared having to do the reaction show last night.
Doing the editorial side last night. Yeah.
But and I did it the first week and it was fun. And it's fun to be a part of that conversation. I hate the dog and pony show that it is. I saw last night where Greg McElroy was tabbed to be the ass. And I like Greg, but it seems like it goes week to week to week where somebody has to have an outlandish opinion that everybody can be angry about. I thought his was on display last night. They have to make that interesting, especially when nothing changed. Well, if you have 8 spots that don't change in your top 10, then you have to create drama. And they did last night. They tried to create drama.
Yeah, that's
you had some people saying that if Texas, that there's no world in which if Texas wins out that they're not in. Oh, sure there is. What if Oregon wins out and they both have 1 loss? Oh, Oregon's only loss is to Washington, who's undefeated. What are you talking about? At that point, that's a better win.
Agreed. I would say, though, that at this point, you could take a look at those 1-loss resumes as they stand here today and have a fair argument about where Oregon should be in that pecking order. The Utah win is a very good one.
It's a huge win, and nobody does that to Utah there.
But the Texas win over Alabama is superior to Oregon's best win. And so why is there a difference there? Because the eye test is telling you that. That's what the committee...
No, I have no problem saying that right now, but I'm saying if we play it out, and they both end up with 1 loss, and Oregon avenges their loss to Washington?
Correct, but that doesn't mean they should be where they are now. I think is the fair point you could make and say, all right, if you want to earn it, And like for Michigan, you go 13-0 and
By
you
the
win
way,
the Big
Michigan
Ten.
shouldn't be in the top 4.
I agree.
And
I agree.
Like we can all get mad about where some of these one-loss teams are. The real argument is, why is Michigan sniffing the top 5?
Agreed.
They shouldn't be. They should be behind Washington. Michigan should be 6th in this poll.
Yeah,
6th.
Yeah.
Well, Washington would be 5th, right?
No, they're
you're right.
in
Yeah,
fifth.
sorry. 5th. Yeah, that's where they should be. Maybe.
No, agreed.
Maybe.
Well, this is the conclusion.
I might put Oregon in front of them with 1 loss. Their losses by 3 on the road to Washington, who's undefeated. Who's Michigan beaten? Nobody.
I agree.
Nobody. But the point is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because they're going to play Ohio State. They're going to play Penn State. And then
what's fascinating to me, though, is that you have a top 3 and then a tier and then us. And I almost feel like after this week, we're in our own tier. We're like in this protected little bubble at 4th, where we're not good enough to be in their definition of the top 3. But Washington, which just won a ranked matchup at the time against USC, who's not good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to make an argument and make it close there, you could have.
I could put Washington number 1 right now. I could put Washington number 1 right now. Their win over Oregon is a better win than Ohio State's win over Penn State.
Yeah, that's true.
Ohio State's win over Notre Dame doesn't mean anything. Louisville just beat their ass and they just lost to Clemson.
No, but it meant something at the time,
Well,
so therefore it carries.
But I'm saying, like, Notre Dame has since lost convincingly, and they just lost to Clemson. That win doesn't mean anything anymore. If our win against Clemson suddenly doesn't mean anything, then what does the Notre Dame win mean to Ohio State? Who cares? That team just got stomped by Clemson.
I understand. That's not how it works, though.
So, but go back. Well, but they pick and choose.
They do. Of course
they pick and choose where that win matters, if it did or didn't matter. By this logic, you can say Washington should be number 1.
Yeah, by this logic, we should be well above in terms of the accomplishments, Michigan, at this point.
Well, I think by that logic, it would be interesting. You really could make this.
Michigan should be at least 5th. I agree with you.
By this logic, you could easily make it, if you wanted to, you could make it Washington 1, either Ohio State or Florida State 2, the others 3. Okay. Yep. And then you would put Georgia 4.
No, the win for over Mizzou, though, puts them back in that
in the top 4.
Well, I mean, for 3 or 2. Yeah.
That's their biggest win, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bigger win than we have at this point, if you want to go do it that way. Because LSU has been devalued. They're now
Clemson
down.
has been devalued.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got 7 losses between those 2 teams.
Yeah, so you can move us down. You can put Georgia ahead of us. And Yeah. You could do the same with Ohio State, move them down if you wanted to. Because, again, they only have 1 significant win now that Notre Dame just lost again.
They choose not to do this. You're correct. They pick and they choose. I don't know that anybody, even a Michigan fan who was reasonable, would have a problem with being 5th and then a committee chair saying, well, if they win out, they're going to be in, guys. Like if they went out with the backloaded schedule that they have with Penn State and Ohio State and they win the conference championship, they're 13-0 and they've gone through those 2 games and they win them, you guys have nothing to sweat. But for right now, you haven't done a thing. So that's why you're 5. Like, who has a problem with that?
Yeah,
not even a Michigan fan. Like, well, you're right. If we just beat Penn State and we beat Ohio State, then we'll be fine. Fair. Yeah.
Ben, you're wrong. It is available, and I've made 3 bets. I'm in Florida. I have the app in Florida, and I've used it 3 times today. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. Anyhow, back to this.
I think if you had it before, you have access before
everybody else. It's an early.
Yeah, the general public.
Because it's coming public for everybody.
Within the week, yeah.
Well, I already know 2 people that have made bets today. One lives in Ocala, one lives in Miami. Actually, I know 3. Another one who lives in St. Pete, so it's available.
I was incentivized to that end, as I've said.
Yeah, so you've made bets on it.
I did a good job.
Before
in that brief window was open, I did very well.
So we've made 4 or 5 bets that are available, so I don't know. Ben, good luck. Michigan, Ohio State play each other. Michigan plays Penn State. This is all going to work out. I have a sense that Oregon's going to beat Washington, but they have to play the game.
They do.
That'll get interesting.
Well, and look,
that'll get interesting.
Civil War could get interesting before they play in the Pac-12 championship game. Who's to say that Oregon State doesn't give Oregon a game before they even get there?
They could. They could. Yeah. I mean, I'd kind of be surprised, but they could. They certainly could.
What if Caleb Williams shows up this weekend?
Well, Caleb Williams shows up every weekend. He had an incredible game last week. He just doesn't have a defense to play for.
The problem is he also is he's not just trying to be perfect. He's also actively hurting them now. two or three times a game. There's a
because
difference.
he has to, because their defense is never going to get a stop.
But you don't have to go loaf of bread. And
well, I agree, but if you're scoring 42 points a game or more and you're throwing for 400 yards every week and 4 touchdowns, you're not the problem.
Agreed. There's just a little bit of Tampa Bay Buccaneers Jameson there. Just a little bit.
I don't think that's true. I think it's become that because of this untenable situation that they're at. Listen, I don't care. I hate USC. I don't care. I don't hate USC. I don't like USC. I don't care. I'm glad they're losing. That's fine. But dude is a beast. He's making throw after throw after throw. That's insane. And he has to, because they're never going to get a stop. Hence, they fired their defensive coordinator in the middle of the season.
Unequivocally, he's a beast. There's no doubt about this.
Yeah.
But he's also gifting the opposition multiple scores a game in their most recent couple of losses. Notre Dame one being a great example. But then last week, before the half, a critical turnover that you cannot have. And then at the end of the game, you're in field goal range. You're going to take a sack in that situation, young man. It's like a loss of 15.
Yeah.
These are points coming off the board because of things you do, not because of things we can't stop. Now, if you can clean that up against Oregon, who knows? Maybe Oregon's out of the conversation this weekend.
Oregon's going to score 100 points on USC. Bo Nix is having an incredible year. They're balanced, and USC hasn't stopped air. It would be stunning if somehow.
Maybe Dan Lanning calls a couple of 4th and 3s. And, that's how they lost to Washington.
Dan is Mike. They're the same guy. Same percentages on 4th down, same asinine decisions. I mean, there you are.
I don't know that Mike. Well,
yeah.
I don't know that Mike would have gone in those situations.
You don't know that he wouldn't have.
Correct. We'll have to see when we get there. Hopefully we never do.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Whidden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Whidden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Whidden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whidden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Whidden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can pull them to the test.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry no heating and air conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
I'm Caleb. I'm the lawn supervisor at Paul's Termite and Pest Control, and I really do love my job. Paul's has created an incredible work environment that always puts our customers' needs first. Their needs are our concerns, and my particular job of improving the health of North Florida lawns is something I truly enjoy. I'm an outdoor person, and I get to be outside all day, watching the lawns run through the stages full of weeds to weedless to lush, grass-filled landscapes is very rewarding. I'm proud to represent Paul's.
I'm Jay. Having the privilege to work with people like Caleb and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We are North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hi, Taco.
Hey, champ, how you doing? Pull up a pillow. Haven't seen you in a couple of days. Hey, something's different about you.
That's right. My people took me to Tally Spay, the affordable spay and neuter clinic on West Tennessee.
Tally Spay? Isn't that the place where they...
Yeah, they're a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic.
So you're saying you've had some work done?
I did. You'd think I'd be depressed, but truth is, I don't even miss them. All I know is my family is much happier now that I've been altered. My people even brought Mr. Jingles to Tally Spay.
Tally Spay, a low-cost, high-volume spay-neuter clinic open to the public, serving Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. How you feeling, Mr. Jingles? Leave me alone! Ugh, you're right, it is a lot nicer. Go to tallyspay.com. That's tallyspay.com.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn
and Dr. Shannon Lord.
We are the dynamic duo at Finn Chiropractic, where we seek to get to the cause of your problem.
Whether you have neck pain, back pain, headaches, or any joint stiffness,
we've developed the Phenomenal Health Exam with some high-tech ways to get to the cause.
Our Phenomenal Health Exam will give the answers you need.
Get in for the Phenomenal Health Evaluation.
Visit our website at finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
Because your chiropractor loves you.
There's nothing you can do about it.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I was just taking a look at the impressive out-of-conference stretch that the Pac-12 had early in the year, which kind of set the table for the overall strength of conference, out of conference. And, of course, the ACC did really well out of conference, too.
We're second in the Power 5.
We're behind the Pac-12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So only the Pac-12 was ahead of the ACC and the Power 5 teams with their out-of-conference matchups. Pac-12 was sensational out of conference. So this is one of those years where I would tell you that the ordinary way in which we apply football logic to the Pac-12 does not apply. It's actually good this year.
That's a lot of fun, too, because their conference championship game is played Friday night of that weekend.
Yeah.
So where everybody is, many of you will be out there in Charlotte, up there in Charlotte, ahead of our game. You just hole up and you watch a game that has playoff implications the night before. That's just a ton of fun because when you're there on site for a conference championship game, obviously your attention is pulled away to your Noles, but it's hard to lock in and watch the entirety of a game before we kick off. Like you'll have the Big 12 championship. That usually is the noon kick. Then they go to the SEC midday. And then I think we run concurrent to the Big 10 championship game.
Mm-hmm.
But to have a night dedicated, like the Pac-12 does it right. That's in Vegas, that game. It's in Vegas the night before. Outstanding.
It'd be a good year to go to that game.
Oh, yeah.
Not just because you're in Vegas, but the quarterback play in that conference has been really good. I'm kind of curious if you are put in a position, because the fan base here, if this goes the way that we want it to, is going to be put in a tough position. And, you know, we've not had to experience this because we've not been in a position to do this yet. But if we get sent out to California for a playoff game and then the championship game's in Houston, you know, if you I guess it will all depend on the matchup. The way you view it is the way you depend on who you think you can beat and who you think you can't beat or are likely to beat or not beat. Because I know there's a cost prohibitive part to all of this too. We're fortunate, the job that we have and, you know, all of that, we probably find our way out there, but I'm kind of curious what you would choose as a fan. I guess I'm asking folks listening or in the chat, if Florida State goes to Los Angeles and plays Ohio State, because if things stay this way, we probably would. It would be 1-4, right? And it would be out in LA.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it's more likely it's 2-3 Ohio State and us. You know, we're Michigan.
At this point, I think so too.
Yeah.
So if it's 2-3, we'll be in yeah, we still probably
No, it's just
yeah. Because Georgia, let's say Georgia or Alabama is the one.
That's New Orleans.
Yeah, that's
all the
New
way.
Orleans all the way.
Yep.
You know, it's funny because I think if we got matched up against Ohio State, you know, I'm picking us against Ohio State. I like us to beat Ohio State. And that's the one in California. If I'm a fan, I'm going to that one. Because there's no greater setting in college football than the Rose Bowl. You can't beat it. It's incredible. And it's not close. It's not close. So if you can do it, go do it. And you may say to yourself, well, I can't do both. Screw Houston. Been to Houston 3 times. Whatever. Go out to California. But then again, I know how absurd that sounds because I think we'd beat Ohio State, which means we'd be playing for the national title, and you want to go and watch the national title game. So I get it.
I think part of the math, too, is are you going to go to Charlotte, which is a lot easier for many in our fan base to just drive to, or a cheap flight because you're on this side of the country. But that's an expense as well. And that essentially, if we finish this thing right in the next 16, 17 days, we finish this thing right, that is a playoff game. It's a play-in game. You win it, you're in. Win, and you're in. That's a really cool feeling, too.
Charlotte, yeah, and winning the ACC championship is much easier for most people to deal with. It's close, it's fun, it's a championship. But
more than the conference trophy, it's about you're in the playoff. Like that's why I would go. I wouldn't go to see them have a trophy ceremony. Who gives a damn? I'll find a bar by the time.
Yeah,
if I'm a fan.
The launching. Yeah, it's the launching to the playoff.
It's that. Oh my God, we're in. Like I would want to see that moment. That would be. It's been 9 years. It's been 9 damn years. The playoff. I'm not saying that you're playing with house money quite yet because I want to see the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see who we play if we get to the playoff. But you didn't think it was going to be 9 years. Georgia Tech was the team we played. Paul Johnson's Georgia Tech was the team we played last time we were in the ACC.
It is hard to imagine, right?
It's forever ago.
Hog Watcher says, would Michigan choose the Rose Bowl as the number 1 seed?
Yeah.
I would definitely think so, given the ties of the Big Ten.
Yep.
I think they most certainly would. Old Dad, you can't possibly let politics get in the way of watching a football game in a stadium. That's ridiculous. There's so many stupid states all over this great country of ours, so don't worry about that. It's a silly way to go about your life. That there is no better setting in the world than the Rose Bowl.
It was the championship game was better than the Rose Bowl because of the time of day it kicks. The mountains light up before we kicked off against Auburn. Like it's still beautiful the next year when you go for the proper Rose Bowl itself and the kickoff is
right.
Close to midday.
It is. Yeah.
But when you got out there for the national title and the sunset occurs before you start, basically your pregame show is watching the beauty of the mountains, feeling the cool breeze off of the San Gabriel Mountains.
It's so incredible.
I mean, the hairs on the back of my neck, even to this day. Wow.
And I went into it kind of jaded because of all the years that we were told that the Rose Bowl was the granddaddy of them all. And we were told over and over again about how this was far and away the best backdrop or
better
setting
than
for
your backwoods living. You're like,
yeah,
hey,
and
man,
I always felt it was kind of sending.
Get your elitism out of here.
Yeah, and then I went and was like, they're right. They're right. This is way better than any place we've been.
Yeah,
this is way better than the Orange Bowl, way better than the Sugar Bowl. It's better than Tempe.
We didn't get back down, or we didn't get down to the field for pregame before the national title, but we did before the Rose Bowl the next year against Oregon.
Yeah,
and we're on the field for both situations.
On the field for warmups, yeah.
But I just couldn't believe how immaculate the surface was. Like when we got down there for the title game, I couldn't really tell how nice the surface was because there was garnet and gold confetti all over it. Because we'd won the national championship.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really tell. And I did look at the mark in the Auburn painted end zone where Kelvin Benjamin landed. I took a photo of that because that was really cool. But before the kickoff, before even warm-ups, we got down there before the teams came out of the tunnels, Florida State and Oregon. It is absurd. It's like something out of what I imagine Augusta to be. How perfect that playing surface is.
Melissa writes, and you park on the golf course. It's amazing. Remember how we were laughing about that?
Yeah.
You do. It's
I had to go find my buddies before the Auburn game. And I said, where are you? And we're under because they have the what's the term? Balloons, I guess, for lack of a better term. They have these balloons that tell you what lot you're in or what hole of the golf course it is. And they're like, we're under number 10. So you're looking in the sky and there are these little circles in the sky.
Yeah.
They kind of almost look like, remember 76 gas stations?
Yes, I do. Very well.
They look like those, off of the interstate. We're under number 10, so I ran over to go see him. But yeah, you're on a golf course before it too.
And that neighborhood that you drive through to get into the stadium, you can think, I mean, we saw kids playing in the front yard with the backdrop of being the Rose Bowl. Like, they have no idea how fortunate they are to live in Pasadena.
A Little League field.
Yeah.
And if you're playing center field, you see the mountains behind home plate.
It's crazy. All of that, it's idyllic. I mean, you're just driving through that neighborhood going, these kids have no idea they're growing up in Pasadena, California, with that as the backdrop. The weather's perfect. You have the San Gabriel, and the games being played there. It is stunning.
Man, it is a tough call. I don't think you wait. I think you take the playoff.
I think you go just to get to the playoff because you want to see a playoff game.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's why I brought it up. Is that, like, I'm wondering what the fan base will do. This is the new era of college football. It's like, if you're good, and soon we hope this is very consistent, this conversation, you have an opportunity to, like, pick and choose, like, oh, see, I think we're going to win this game, so I'll wait till we go on the road the following week and we play at this stadium. Like, when we go to 12,
yeah,
you're going to be, if you're not in a position, let's say, to host a game in Tallahassee, you're thinking, well, okay, do I go on the road here because we can beat this team on the road, but I think we'll lose the following week if we match up with so and so.
But think about some of those possibilities. You could be playing Michigan in the Big House in a playoff game. What?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And this is where it's good that they're expanding. You're going to avoid a lot of the nonsense that we get frustrated by when we watch the ranking show. Because when you watch the ranking show, like, we could do this, and you and I just kind of did it back and forth. We had some fun. Think about it. Like, you have to decide when you're watching a team like Washington or you're watching Florida State, you say, okay, whose resume is better? One's number 4, one's number 5. They're both undefeated. It sucks that we have to do that. Only college football has this problem. In the NBA and in pro football and in all these other sports where we crown champions, you don't have to get into, well, it's my feeling that this team is better. We have very similar resumes, but I feel like this team is better. What are we doing? That's a crazy thing to do.
Right.
It's unfair to both programs, both fan bases. Like, I could make an argument for Washington ahead of Florida State, and I could make an argument for Florida State ahead of Washington. But why are we doing that? It's ridiculous.
Well, one's correct and one isn't. But yes, the fun part is, though, it, and we will get sucked into it to a degree. But we do a good job of this, where we say, hey, man, you're arguing about 12 and 13. You're not arguing about 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, 4 and 5. But they're going to do that because they have to create the controversy of what poor group of 5 team. Like, James Madison should be in the playoff, damn it.
By the way, have you seen this?
Why is UCF in and James Madison is not? That's going to come. That's going to happen. Or Oklahoma State got in. This is, what? The big conferences taking care of their own. Oklahoma State makes it. Meanwhile, Boise State, they're undefeated. You could, that conversation is coming for who gets the final spot at 12.
I'm not going to worry about it. If
you're
13th or 14th.
Yeah.
Come on. But we know how ugly it gets. We do. We know how ugly it gets.
It was 68 and 70.
Yeah. So you have the 70th team, even though that's not really how it works.
Right.
With the at-large. But yeah.
You're probably the 45th best team.
Yeah, you're probably the 45th best team in the country getting screwed. So you can see it where emotions, and really that's the problem in college basketball in general, because it's the only thing that matters anymore. They've cannibalized the regular season. Like, college basketball started, this week, and people are like, who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody's watching. I'll be very interested to see those ratings.
Will you?
No, it's sad. It makes me sad. I used to love college basketball.
Bring the magnifying glass. You're going to need them.
They have fallen off a cliff. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Local news now.
Tuesday, Charlie Adelson's defense attorney filed a motion asking a judge to interview the jurors who convicted Adelson of orchestrating the murder of FSU law professor Dan Markle. Attorney Daniel Rashbaum filed the motion less than a day after the jury convicted Adelson. In the motion, Rashbaum says he was contacted by one of 3 alternate jurors discharged before jury deliberations began. Rashbaum says that juror told him that several days before the conviction, 1 or more members of the jury asked all other jurors for their telephone numbers, after which some sort of group chat was established. Rashbaum said Adelson is entitled to a fair trial before an impartial jury. He asked that the jurors involved be interviewed to ensure the integrity of the jury's verdict in the case. Rashbaum says his team talked with counsel for the state about the interview request. In the motion, it says the state's counsel opposes the relief requested in the motion. A jury found Charles Adelson guilty on 3 counts in connection with the death of Florida State professor Dan Markle. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Highs around 81 this afternoon under mainly clear skies, south winds around 5 miles per hour. Lows around 55 tonight, partly cloudy. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times again tomorrow. Highs level off around 80. Mainly cloudy Friday with highs around 83. 78 Saturday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 82.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Was probably my calling card because that's when I was in that era.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 just arrived at Games for Less here in town, by the way. It's there.
Okay.
It's right there. It's early. You can go get it right now if you're in Tallahassee off Appalachia Parkway.
I'm holding on for dear life with Halo. The amount of people that are on it these days has diminished greatly, but I'm still there, and I still am pretty good at it.
I like that you wear your Halo excellence as a badge of honor, sir.
Do.
I know you do. I know you do.
It's a big point of pride.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's going to be in my obit.
He was really good at
Dude was badass at Halo.
I don't think my kids have ever played Halo. I don't think they even know, because it's kind of waned some compared to where it was when in your heyday, right?
It came out when I was a freshman in high school, so that's 22 years ago. Yeah. But I mean, even through the 2010s, it was a pretty popular game.
I'll answer the question, everybody. The answer is 74. 74 Zaxby's in Tallahassee.
All right.
Incredible.
The amount of expansion since Monday is remarkable.
The demand is great.
I think there was a 45, give or take 3 on Monday.
That was on Monday, yeah. 45, give or take 3.
Give or take 3.
So to get into the 70s in this short period of time really is amazing. So there it is. In the 70s. I think it's 73, maybe 76.
I heard 74. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's changing by the second.
My God. The market is so volatile.
So that's
you just swiped my credit card. Where'd you go?
That's where it is. And our friends at Zaxby's, proud Golden Chief boosters for over 18 years.
Speaking of 70s, let's go to the decade. Great decade. Somebody I know and love was born in the 70s.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
I assume that was me.
I let everybody, you know what? Everybody who's driving around is like, thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
No. When you think 70s music, what is the first artist that comes to your mind?
So do you know why? So this is going to make you laugh. I have a
Barbara Streisand, really?
No. I have a joke for you. An inside thing to tell you about. Because me and TPE talk about yacht rock on Sirius XM and laugh at various artists, but also embrace certain other artists. And that era is a crazy era of music.
Michael McDonald, my man.
So America's Sister Golden Hair is the one song that best represents that sort of era of music. And depending on how you feel about the band America, then you kind of, this is where you're at, right? So that to me is now there are so many great bands from the 70s, and this could turn into a music podcast.
That's why
you know how I am. You know how I am with this.
It's an unbelievable decade. It's got everything. But I just wonder where your brain goes first.
Well, it's because of this ongoing joke that I have with Mario. Mario is it's America, Sister Golden Hair, or
Ventura Highway.
Perfect. That's yes. Horse with No Name. Any of those America hits? Yes, you can go. But Sister Golden Hair, as I said, you can have fun with that. But that doesn't mean that's the band I like the most or anything like that. It's just that's the one because we've had this ongoing joke about it. And so we send each other pictures anytime the song comes up on Yacht Rock.
Which means Yacht Rock's in your rotation.
It's one of about 25 things in my rotation that I'll spin through. Yeah. No, there's
about Hair Nation. You got Hair Nation in there.
It's in there. It's in there. It's about moods.
Yeah.
You got to give yourself variety.
First Wave.
First Wave is definitely in there. You know me. Yeah. You get
absolutely.
It's absolutely. Yeah, man. Forget about it. I've got like 25 things in the rotation. I even sit around and listen for giggles to all the ridiculous religious stations that I have fun at their expense, just listening to the nonsense. I crack up at the guys just stealing money from people. I can listen to it. My wife will be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just making fun of these people."
You say, "Baby Billy, why do you do it?" Because I'm selfless.
I laugh at that.
For just $59.99.
Yeah, you can join, right? And I'm like, somebody's doing it. Somebody right now has been duped into believing this nonsense. And then I'll do the same with. I'll flip over to like old timey storytelling stations, like they have the old ones from like the 40s and 50s.
Oh yeah,
that stuff's interesting to listen to the way they tell stories and how they created characters.
One of my dad's favorite gifts that he was given, not by me, but was an old 6 CD collection of The Shadow,
right?
The radio broadcast.
So you can listen to those old shows, and there's a lot of them. Some of them are really well done, really well written, and you think, man, it's impressive.
He'd always do The Shadow knows as he's driving, and he was so happy. Yeah, for me, the Spectrum's good too. The Spectrum is good.
Agreed.
Especially when Nathaniel Rateliff doesn't buy the entire channel for
a few weeks, right?
Everybody some Nathaniel
Yeah,
Rateliff.
you get all of it, yeah. So it is tonight. We will have what should be fun and interactive at 6:30 instead of our typical 7. So we're going at 6:30 tonight. It's the JCS Interactive Hour, brought to you by our friends at the Battles Inn. We look forward to all of you rolling on in here and having fun with it.
We will be fresh off the report. We're doing the report at 6.
We are. It's going to,
which is not live. That's
it's
taped.
going to have to be a brisk report.
It could be thorough but punctual. Yeah,
got to be within 30 minutes. I mean, because we're starting at 6, so let's knock it out. I look forward to it. I think this is it's a perfect week, man. We've got friends and loved ones coming to town. I got a lot of people coming into town. It's Florida State, Miami. You know how much we love all this. This is going to be great. And I just hope that we're healthy enough to play our best game. It's not because I'm sitting around feeling a sense of dread or anything like that. I love for us, every team does, but we really want to be at our very best. When you have a chance to kind of put the dagger in Miami's season and further separate yourself from not just that team, but perhaps the University of Florida. Think about what's at hand here in the next 3 weeks. You could really change the recruiting game, as we said at the start of the show.
That's it. The battle and the war.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that more than anything else.
It's concurrent fights here. You know, the battle is, of course, taking place at 3:30 on Saturday, and that's huge. Don't get me wrong. It's not a small one. It's not this tertiary battle that gets the back of the book.
No, it's absolutely huge.
Critical. But I mean, all of it, the operation this weekend. This is the biggest weekend of the regular season. It's not close. It's not close for the operation of Florida State football. So make it count.
When you get in position to deliver haymakers, you've got to make it happen. We all lament in the course of a football game when you blow an opportunity to put a team away. This feels like a little bit of that. You've got the game itself that obviously you got to take care of. You got to win the game. But big picture, this feels like you're in a spot to deliver some haymakers. And if you do it, you can perhaps shake up the recruitment of a lot of these guys. You can have a chance to, bring in a few players that right now are really needed in this program, because while we're worlds better than we were, we're not quite there yet to be a juggernaut the way that Georgia is. Or, you know what I mean?
This can help.
This could go a long way to achieving that status. When you look out there, so when you're watching Georgia struggle at the beginning of the season, like me, you see a couple things. You see a team that's bored. And then every now and again, when you watch, you're like, oh, there's a team that can turn it on when they want to, because they've got 7-8 guys at each position that they can turn to. This is an injury that's hindering them. There's a guy they're discovering this kid. And then like fast forward 3 weeks later, you're like, oh no, damn it, they figured it out. Well, you can do that when you get a bunch of 5 stars.
Right.
And that's where we want to get to and how close we are. And these kinds of games, these kinds of moments do that for you.
Well, it's also, you hope that those particular traits continue to carry the way that they did for 14 with us, for Georgia. Perhaps they could be lax in certain moments, and then the next thing they know, they're in a dogfight, couple of turnovers, and you're getting your ass kicked. But that's for another preview.
That's
right
for a
now, you got to win these games in front of you.
Beautiful thing. All right, so don't forget tonight, 6:30, we will see you guys there on the interwebs. Hope to, anyhow. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Peace.